We're getting judged as it. Oh, yeah.
And Zach's sitting there and he goes, "Hey man, that was good. Just don't fuck it up like you did. Don't fuck it up tonight."
Hey everybody, you are here with Zaddy, and this is Mr. Steve Fitz. We are in Perth currently. We've just done a bit of a workshop weekend, and we thought we'd get some local advice here on how the dance scene is and ask a few questions.
Yeah, you won't have Mackenzie here today, but we hopefully can run the show without him here.
We got this.
We'll see how we go. But yeah, so Steve, you live in Perth, WA. How far away are you from all of the dance scene stuff around and where you are?
Well, for West Coast, I think we're one of the most isolated cities in the world.
Yeah,
So
true.
like
in general and in West
Yeah,
Coast.
yeah, it's really hard to get here or to get anywhere from here. So on the West Coast of Australia, and there's 3 sort of local dance schools, and they're all sort of within 30 minutes drive of each other.
Yeah, okay, well, that's cool. But yeah, you're definitely isolated from the rest of Australia, probably over here. But you're one of the biggest states in Australia.
Yeah, we're huge.
But you guys have the benefit of being closer to like the Asian Pacific side of
And
the
Europe.
And
More
Europe.
cheap if you guys get to Europe now.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Singapore's like 5.5 hours for us, or 6 hours, and it's like the same as coming to the Gold Coast for your event.
Yep.
Same time.
Which one do you go to?
You've got a bit of travel time. So for context, it's about 5 hours from Brizzy.
Yeah.
I think to fly to.
To Perth.
Yeah. So what's your favourite thing about Perth, West Coast swing, or Perth in general?
We're kind of like, the way that I would describe it, especially if you've got people in the US, is like WA is a lot like California. Like the West Coast of US is kind of laid back, surfy, beachy, summery, whatever.
Yep.
And the people seem like lifestyle seems to be slower. So on the West Coast, it's like just people are more cruisy, like it's not chaotic traffic or whatever. It's not a super big city. I think we've just hit 2 million in population, and that's spread over like a large landmass. And so, you know, you go to the East Coast and everyone's busy and in a rush and road raging and whatever.
It's almost a sense of holiday time over here. Every time we come over.
That's awesome.
And I would say the West Coast swing scene, like with the people in West Coast, it's kind of that relaxed. It's more relaxed, more casual.
Yeah. What's so how long have you been dancing for everyone to know?
So West Coast, I started sort of literally like a couple of weeks before we went into COVID lockdowns in 2020. Yeah, and then so
that's interesting.
Yeah, it was a few months after that. Then so the second half of 2020 is when I started.
So what you started, and then it shut down, and you're like.
Yeah, I was like,
Got
damn.
the bug though. You got the bug.
Yeah.
What? So how did you got the bug within like a couple of months?
They're beginners. And then I was like drilling it, and it's like, there's no classes now until we open up again.
Oh my goodness. Oh, awesome. So you had enough, like, there was enough, I guess, what drew you back then? If you only learnt like one pattern or something like that?
So I did a mate of mine, you know, from high school told me he was doing salsa in Japan. He lives over there. And so he's like, you know, get back into it, because I used to dance when I was young.
Yeah.
And he's like, go to that. So I did it for maybe 6 months. I went to one of the social nights, and I just don't really like the music. I know some people love it. It just didn't do anything for me.
I've heard that a couple of times.
And because I'm a hip hop guy, breakdance, rap, whatever.
Yep.
I want the bass. I don't care about like all the rest.
Yep.
That's what I like, and that's what makes me want to dance. And so I told my dance teacher, and she said, you know, come and try West Coast swing.
Yep.
And so I looked up on YouTube and I saw Kyle Red and Victoria Henk dancing to Young and Stupid, and I was like, is this what you mean? Is this the thing?
Cool.
She's like, yeah, that's it. And I said, so you'll teach me to do that? She still doesn't quite teach you to dance as well as Kyle.
I want to learn all of that.
Yeah, all of that in the first week. So then, when I went there and she's playing the music, I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to dance to.
Yeah.
So then after the shutdown, I was like, well, I stopped salsa straight away, sort of thing, and I just went to that.
Cool.
Nice.
In comparison to all the people that you were learning, like, did you have any other people that were learning at the same time as you at the same point? Like, let's say your first class, is there a couple of people that their first class as well?
Yeah. There's people sort of, it's quite a few people that started sort of within 3 months of me starting as well.
And did they all come back, or are they all still going, or no?
Some are.
Yep.
Some have switched to bachata, like Courtney.
Okay,
for example.
Courtney,
She's now on our side of the country.
She moved to Brizzy.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was such an awesome dance partner in that first 12 months as well, because we were both like at that same level.
Yeah.
And she's super keen and
Awesome.
Yeah.
Then we stole her away from you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
So I know you do like a lot of practice during the week. Like how many days are we talking? How many days, how many hours are we talking during the week?
So I go to 2 different dance classes, which are like 3 hours at the dance classes, and then I do 1 to 2 hours with Amanda, and then every fortnight I'm training for a couple of hours with David and Marsha. And now on the Sunday nights, I also train for an hour during beginners class. I go with one.
So you're about like
Someone-
6 or so hours a week?
Yeah.
Nice.
Probably 4 to 6.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
And then I train solo at home. I try to do a minimum of 15 minutes. So
Cool.
Because I kind of feel like consistency is better than longevity.
Yep.
Like if I do it every day consistently just for 10 minutes,
Yep.
that's better than doing a 1 hour session on my own once a week.
Gotcha, yeah. And all that time compounds over the longer you do that as well. It's like, someone that's doing 1 class a week compared to 5 classes a week, and that compounds over a year, and then you got a big difference between the two. With all the knowledge that's out there as well, there's so much. We actually mentioned that in one of our other episodes that we talk about, and it's like, that's cool to hear because we got the same mindset on that, if that makes sense.
There's something else too with just being older, is that as you get over 50, your myelin, there's this thing in your body that sort of fuses over your neural pathways.
Yeah.
So it starts to decrease. So when you're young, you can pick up new skills quicker, and it formulates. So it's like you learn to ride a bike and you never forget.
Yeah.
Because this myelin sheath goes over your nerves.
Gotcha.
And then as you get older, that gets worse. And so trying to learn new skills takes longer. And
I guess as well, like, I've always thought, like, when you're younger, there's not as much that you know too. So when you learn something, it's easier. It's like there's less memory in there.
Less crowded with other things in your mind.
shit. Yeah, like
less
I don't
bad
have to think
habits to
about
get rid of. Yeah.
Yes,
I don't have to think about wiping my ass because I learned that when there was nothing else in my brain.
That's good to know.
Just in case anyone wanted to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still have to remember. No, joking.
I guess so you've done like solo stuff before. So how important do you feel doing like solo practice is important with West Coast, which is a partnership dance?
Man. Like it's essential. The solo training is essential. It's the one thing that I always wish every single West Coast dance teacher would teach more solo drills and technique, because I can never find enough. I literally scour YouTube and I'm finding 15-year-old videos of Robert Royston teaching something on on the first handheld mobile or something. Or a handy cam probably, and it's so grainy and terrible.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
awesome.
I'm literally looking everywhere for those drills because
That's awesome.
they're essential.
So do you have a couple of West Coast people that give those drills out that you would recommend?
Not enough.
Not
There's
enough.
not enough. Like this is probably my number one complaint, right, about West Coast in general, is that dance teachers, because you get paid for what you do, right? It's your job.
Yep.
So I understand that. So there's this friction between, I want to get paid for my expertise, so I don't want to give too much stuff away in general. But my view is, give as much as you can.
Yeah. And then it'll all come back eventually.
Because if you're teaching me online and I lock into you, then when we catch up, I'm going to go, hey, Zach,
I want to learn.
I'm now at this level because thanks to everything else.
Yeah.
And you've still got more stuff to teach me,
And
but now it's higher level.
Yes, yes. And also if everyone's all growing higher level, like whether it's free or not, like if you're giving more and everyone grows, then they grow other people, and then the scene becomes bigger, and then we got more people that are growing, and then it's like that onboarding effect, I think.
So you are giving it away, but you get it in return later.
100%.
Yeah.
So last year we have a fun story. We actually got to meet Jason Derulo in one of the concerts that we went to.
Oh yeah, I
and
saw
then,
the Instagram.
Flow Rider came and partied with all the other guys.
Oh my God, it's
So and we're like, why? We are so lucky. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And of all the people at this concert, like this stadium is packed. Like they came and partied with us, and we got to party with them. So I'm like, one of the guys said, you know what? Good things happen to good people. and like, you know, like you put it out there and you do right, or like you give to other people, and if it comes back in another form, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's connection, whatever that form is back.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
I mean, it did help that there was like 15, 18 of us all wearing the same thing, and we were like the loudest group in the whole thing. That kind of helped as well.
And the whole vibe of your whole crew.
The energy bundle. Yeah, no, it was good.
No, I love that. That's a really good point.
I definitely think there's not enough yet, like you say, solo drills and stuff out there. I think we try to do it every so often, and in our like privates, we try and say, hey, it's the same with everyone. Like we'll give you something and say, hey, you need to practice this thing by yourself to make this thing better. And everyone's like, yeah, cool, no worries. No, I guarantee they don't do it.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
So there's Alyssa. I know Alyssa does. Sean and Alyssa, they do their online classes, and they have some like solo drills and stuff.
Yep.
Still mostly like, would you like them West Coast related solo drills? Or more like
just movement.
solo.
Definitely the West Coast stuff. I can't find enough West Coast stuff to keep me satisfied.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then I can get online and find hip hop drills everywhere.
Yeah.
But West Coast is like this weird thing where it's like, well, if you want it, it's over here and you got to pay for it or travel or whatever. And it's like,
right.
Okay. There you go. That's what
Market.
we're going to start that up.
Marketing.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's
if
go.
I give you an example, right, like Semi and Maria would do their classes in Russia, right, at Ovara, and then they would film their little demo at the end.
Yeah.
And so I just started clipping that and learning that with Amanda, just going, hey, let's learn this. And we learned so much Semi and Maria stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're not making money from me when I'm doing that.
Yeah,
but then I start like sharing it and
private.
like putting it and going, this is what I learned off them, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so that built some awareness about them because a lot of people that I danced with didn't know anything about them, but then they started to see us do stuff. But then when the opportunity came, I had private lessons with them because I already feel like I know them.
Yeah.
And then I also got them to choreo stuff for a pro-am.
Yeah.
So they made money in the end.
Yeah, gotcha.
But it was like 18 months after I'd been doing their stuff and locked into them.
Something we do with Raw Connection is that we post our like classes at the end of every night. So we do it with, instead of like, so Semi and Maria
I've
would do
learned
theirs.
stuff from you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like literally, I'm watching it and I go to Amanda, hey, let's do this thing.
Let's do this thing.
And it got to the point where like Facebook offered us to like have a subscription thing, and we're like, oh, that's really cool. Now we have to think of something else to offer. Like, I don't want to just be like, now subscribe and you can get the same thing that we've been giving for free. It's like, you've got to find another bit of value that you can give to other people so
just do the
it's
breakdown
worth
of
it.
Yeah.
Now, so
Show
your
the
offer,
highlight in the thing and then do the breakdown in the pay.
and we do the solo drills at the same time.
Absolutely.
Business
Do
plan.
it, I sign
I
up.
love that. So actually, this is a great point. So Steve is a, digital...
Software
Digital
engineer?
marketer.
Or digital
Yeah, I'm a
marketer,
software engineer
yeah.
and a digital marketer. I have a digital agency. Yeah.
Awesome. So this is like, that's your full-time job, that's your company, that's your business, and then you dance on the side. Or you're at the same time, and then you also, I'm assuming, like you cross them over, you do a bit of, like you understand how that works in dance world as well.
Yeah.
How do you find the balance? Like how do you, like, and you've got a wife, and have you got kids?
Yeah, but he's 28.
Don't have to look after him anymore.
Yeah,
I'm 28 this year, but my dad still looks after me.
Yeah.
He still needs looking after, that's for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
Zach still lives at home, so literally, like, he's actually moving out in a couple of weeks. But yeah,
Wait, your name is Zach?
His name is
Yeah.
Zach?
Son's like, oh,
Yeah,
what a
yeah.
good guy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so how do you find the balance between, like work life, dance life, wife life, travel?
Yeah, that's tough. It's like the business, it is my business, so I have flexibility, so that makes things easier for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
I reckon the challenge is, we talked about this before. I could talk and think about dancing all day, every day, because I love it. It's one of those things like if I'm training or something, I could just do it for hours and then I turn around and go, oh, I need to get some work.
Oh, damn, I've
Yeah.
got to go on life now.
Yeah, but I think the hardest part is probably, because my wife doesn't dance, is finding that balance. Because I'm also, like obsessive. Like, I'll just lock in and go, I want to do the thing, I want to do the thing. And so I'll just want to keep doing it, whether that's dancing or something else. Whatever I'm into, it's like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And so this is how I am. And so
That's cool.
balancing that with Jane is like, that's the challenge.
Cool.
Making sure I don't take too much time away.
Yeah.
But I would also say, like, we have date night, like once a week. We always have a date night, and then we have a
good.
date breakfast
Awesome.
sometime a week. So we've done that for 30 years.
That's
And
good. See, consistency again. Even
Yeah.
the dating, yeah, that's good.
yeah, so that helps. So then we always
Yeah.
have that anyway, and then if there's dance stuff on, it's not as big a deal.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, see, we need more date nights, Maddie.
Oh, definitely.
We need more date nights. For sure.
Yes.
Man. That's good. That's good advice. I think I would love to get more into like the understanding like the algorithms and the marketing side of things. I think we're very good with it in Brisbane. Like we're always on as many platforms as we can and try to keep everyone updated and what's going on and
Oh, so many accounts.
social
So hard.
events
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. I think we do a lot and pretty well, but I think there's always more to learn about it.
Yeah, one of the things that I set out to do with Amanda was like, when we do our stuff is I just played the algorithm and like what's going to break it on YouTube like this, what's going to break it on Instagram like this. I don't do as much TikTok because they always have the music strikes and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
so
true.
That's
I
one
found
reason
that
we're
tricky.
not.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
I can either give you the scoops now on what to do on that.
Yeah, give us the scoops.
Or like give it to you privately
We'll
and you
talk
can
later,
go
we'll
and like
talk
kill
later.
it.
Tell everyone like what's like as much as this is for us, like we're doing this for us to learn lots of things as well.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about, like we want everyone to understand about Australia or how to build the West Coast swing scene here. So
And we love like more posts for people to do on TikTok with West Coast, but again, like you said, it's hard because you know you have the issue with the music and
yeah. So, what's
the
the
thing that, and you guys can do this, right? Same with Mackenzie and Rashania and anyone else who has the time just to do quick choreos.
Yep.
Is to go on to TikTok and Instagram's just copied, like more recently in the last few months, because it works so well on TikTok, is just to look at, watch things and as you see certain clips, like if you look at on TikTok, it's LaVic or it's LA Vic.
Okay.
He does a lot of dance clips, right?
Yep.
And so they use trending music. So they use a lot of, say, Bee Gees, right? Because that music trends on TikTok.
Okay.
So then they get that sound bite and they know that this is what it is. They create some choreo
and then
they use that track. And because it's trending already,
everyone's going to see
TikTok
it.
promotes it and then you go
right.
on the algorithm.
There
right?
you go.
So Instagram, same thing. Just
Yep.
use a trending music and choreo to that,
See?
which isn't what we do. But that's what you see on like,
You see a lot
you
of
see the
solo
West
dancing.
Coast swing stuff.
Yep.
Where they use trending music and it's like, this isn't what the song that they were actually dancing to. They've gone and changed the music.
yeah,
Right.
But it's because they're playing the algorithm. But
See,
if you-
I don't like that when I saw
It
that
sucks.
on where was it? I don't know what platform I saw it on, but they were dancing and there's this amazing couple from America and lots of different couples, and then I see this other song and I'm like, they're off time.
Yeah.
And then I down and I scroll down to the next one and it's the same song through every single video. I'm like,
what is happening?
why? Why? And now that makes sense. They're just trying to like play the algorithm, I guess.
So
Just
this
get it
is
out
the
there.
problem. Like if you're dancing Jack and Jill, you don't get to choose the music. But if you're creators like you guys can be,
Yeah.
you can say, well, this is a trending song. Let's do something to this. So
Yes.
it all looks organic.
So you're doing like little
and you
quick
promote it
choreo.
that way. And you, honestly, you'll explode.
Yeah.
Like, because that's just, you're leaning into that algorithm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You mentioned you did a pro-am. We've done a couple of pro-ams.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
One thing that I think we do, it is common in Australia, which isn't necessarily so common in, say, the States or Europe because we don't have as much access, is so you learned a pro-am from Semi Maria overseas. So you had to do it all online.
Yeah.
How was that whole experience?
All
I've done-
of it was online.
So I've done one where it was with Kim, the
Yeah.
first one that I did.
Yep.
There's a funny story about that. Can I share?
Absolutely, please.
Well, because
Please
first ever Pro-Am, I had a private lesson with you at Swing Station in 2021.
Hey.
So I'd been dancing less than a year.
Yep.
And then by the end of the year, we went to Adelaide and did the Pro-Am performance.
Yes.
And so I'd never done a Pro-Am, and my whole thing was wanting to learn to get
Perform.
performance back.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're doing the floor trials, and Zach's sitting there waiting. I think you were next with Diane to do the floor trial.
Yes.
You're sitting there waiting. You've never seen what we're doing. We did our thing, and we got halfway through, and then I messed up.
Yep.
And then I had to work out
Cover
how to
it
get
up.
back to here and then
Yep.
whatever. And then as I'm walking off, I'm nervous and
You're
you know,
thinking judged.
everything.
We're getting judged. As yeah.
And Zach's sitting there and he goes, "Hey man, that was good. Just don't fuck it up like you did. Don't fuck it up tonight, like you just did."
You say that all the time. You're such a jerk.
And then I went, yeah, thanks. Thanks, Dean. Oh, yeah, that calmed me
Broke
down.
the ice. I broke the ice. That was
It was just funny because you picked it straight away. It's like, oh, I thought I covered it up. No, Zach, like, never seen it before. Yeah, just don't do that again.
Nice try.
It was funny.
Try.
But actually, the one thing I would say is every time I've done a program, you guys are, this is one thing that I love about you two, is that you're so vocally supportive.
Yeah.
Like of
thanks,
everyone
man.
all the time.
Thanks,
Doesn't
man.
matter if they're from your school or whoever. Like, you're
That's
just,
something we massively promote.
you watch any video where you're in the crowd and you can hear you guys.
Yeah,
Zach's like, yeah, get it. Like,
Let's go, get it.
that's just how it is. And it's like, that's just so good for the community.
Yay.
Something that Mackenzie said once was, I don't have to be impressed to be supportive.
Yeah, no.
So like a beginner, I know how to do a push break and then hit a phrase change, whatever, and a push break and then look at the audience. Something like that simple to a complete new person on the floor is a big thing because you're like looking at every single person.
So intimidating.
And
It's
I remember
scary.
how that felt. And then I think some people forget how those things feel.
Yeah.
And so that that's awesome. And people should make some noise and
The
support
fact that you do it is awesome.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, man.
getting back to your question, the Pro-Am stuff. So I did one with Jakob and Emmeline and also Sam and Maria, and they were remote.
Yes.
So we talked with them online, reached them through their website or through social media, and then just said, hey, look, we'd like to do it. They then gave us a price and how it would work. And so, we put a bunch of songs in Spotify.
Can I ask you, just for the people of Australia, like that haven't done routines and haven't had a routine choreographed by other people, and because we choreograph routines for some people in Australia, and I've had some thoughts of like, damn, that's expensive or like whatever. So can you please tell us what choreography is around, maybe even the price of?
So at the time,
Yeah.
both of them charge the same price, which is 900 euros, which in Australian dollars was about 1,400 to 1,500 Aussie dollars.
Cool.
Given, I don't know what the exchange
I was gonna
rates
say
are
that's
now.
pretty cheap actually.
It's quite affordable.
That's pretty
And what,
affordable.
To
well,
what
what
you
you get for that is you get them doing the video of them doing it,
Yep.
and then each of them provided a bit of a walkthrough, which
Yep.
was about 50 minutes long. And so where they're just talking, and then like Jakob is explaining what he's doing, Emmeline would explain what they're doing, then they'd do the thing, and
Yep.
then they'd talk about the next steps.
And would they do that in separate videos? Like Emmeline would do it
Yeah,
her own video.
No, same. So they just film it, and they're both talking through
Yep.
what's happening with the connection and the movement, timing
Cool.
and stuff.
Okay, that's awesome. And then how long does it take you to learn? Like, I mean, it depends on, I guess, the.
So the Jakob Emmeline one took 57 and a half hours.
Oh,
and
you
the-
timed yours.
57
You
and a
timed. You
half
actually.
So I track everything. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
I use Notion, and so like everything's there.
And this is
7
the
hours,
thing.
23 seconds.
This
Yeah.
is the thing. 57 hours, right? And
So
you-
that one was 57, but
Yeah.
I was also year 2 dancing.
Yeah.
You're hungry.
And Jakob and Emmeline,
No, baby
I don't know if
dancer.
they went easy. I don't feel like they did. I feel like they went, well, this is what we would put on. You guys have to. There was one move in that. It's like, this is so insane how much time we spent on this. It was a ride where Amanda did, literally, I'm turning. She jumps on my back and rotates me as well.
Yes.
And then I had to do a full.
yes, that's I remember this one.
Oh man, that was like learning that.
Awesome.
It was-
The time and effort you put into it, it's so rewarding.
Yeah, the Semi-Maria
Yeah.
one was much quicker, and again, my skill level was higher
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I did that.
It's easier to
And so
translate.
there was still some like advanced stuff, and there was a lot of. I said to him, I really wanted to do more showmanship stuff, in
Yeah.
it. And so they included
Awesome.
that, which is good. And
It was a good couple choice
Yeah.
for that as well, I think.
that
The
was about
poems.
that was 46 hours. That one.
Okay. Because I've done like proems where I'll either like, some people, I didn't even know that some people had proems choreographed from the couple. So like, I think the first ever one I was aware of was Sean and Courtney, when they choreographed routine for the pro-am that Sean was doing with, or some vice versa. And I was like, okay, that's cool, that's a thing. And then I realized it was a thing for lots of people. So it's now the thing that we offer as well. I can either choreograph it with you, but it's going to take longer, so it's going to be more expensive. But you get the experience of learning how to choreo and what my mind is thinking and what we're hearing and all of these thought processes, and even cutting the song if that's something that you're into. Or you can just pay us to choreograph it and then we teach it to you. And then that's probably going to be cheaper, depending on how much time and stuff, obviously. But you think 57 hours, if you were doing this with Maddie and then you paid for 57 hours worth of like.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Do you know what I mean?
It
Like,
is.
so,
It's a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was like training it with Amanda. That was the total time before we put it on the floor.
yeah, that's
right.
awesome.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that wasn't like just the soul learning part
No.
of it. It was.
Oh,
Yeah,
training.
it was no, it was training together. 57 hours training together. I was doing solo stuff because I had to learn 1 foot spins and all sorts of
Yes.
stuff. So I would do all of that at home on my own. That's not
Yes.
included in
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
no,
just the
that's
time
awesome.
together
No,
doing the
that's
stuff.
good. Yeah.
That's so good.
I think routines are just like such a good thing to just accelerate your dancing, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize it's actually more affordable than you'd think it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. Obviously, it makes it a bit more worthwhile if you're actually going to like travel with it and perform it and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But you know, some people just want to do it just for a purely learning experience as well.
Yeah.
It just depends what you're.
I've
into.
learned so many routines, and I put it down to like, I learned a new move, a new musicality. I'm like, oh, that's something that he wanted to hit in this song, or that's something that the follower could do in this pattern, or like, oh, I didn't know I could do that lead like this. So I love the challenge of like doing someone else's choreo, because it's like, I'm learning about how they think in my like, that's, yeah, and set
That
up
was the
music.
thing with the Jakob and Malene one in particular, was they move in a very different way.
Oh,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
So their movement was like not intuitive for either of us, and
Yeah.
so to learn it was really challenging, but awesome
Yeah.
as well. It's
The
like,
challenge.
man,
Yeah. Is that why you chose them? Do you think? It's just something completely different.
so
to what you
actually,
used to.
so for my 50th birthday, my wife and I just said, like, for 50th, you get $5,000 to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
1,000. Wait, what is it?
5,000.
yeah, so
Nice.
then I did both of those routines were
Awesome.
part of that
Okay.
50th
Awesome.
birthday.
What do you get for your 51st?
Yeah,
52nd.
nothing. Pay off the $5,000. Yeah. Yeah. So then it was more just, well, who can I get?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I love their dancing. I think out of anyone who dances West Coast swing, their interpretation of music to me is, there's so many high level dancers who are fantastic at interpreting,
Yeah.
but theirs just resonates with me, and it's like,
Yeah.
I just think it's beautiful dancing.
Yeah.
Um,
I can't wait to watch their routine at
Live.
Sensation.
Very excited.
I'm so
Sensation in
excited.
May. That's going to be awesome.
That's gonna be very cool.
Yeah. Just
Their
watch
Queen
the
one
dance.
with Freddie Mercury tribute,
Yeah.
that was amazing.
Yeah,
But
that
also
was
they
cool.
do one to John Butler Trio, and it's just all guitar and lyrical,
Yeah.
and it's like one of the best routines you'll ever see. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
that's why we chose them, and then I love Simi and Maria, so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, guys,
Yeah.
if you could
They're
do it.
awesome.
I like
Yeah.
it.
They're so cool. I want to know, what is your favorite thing about the events? So like, if you go to an event and you're like, we're talking about pro-ams, we're talking about like, you're doing a lot of practice. Are you practicing for events, or you're practicing for, let me split
Hang
this
on.
into a couple of
I was
questions.
gonna say, that's like
Sorry, let me
three
split-
questions.
Let me split this into a couple of questions. Is this, do you train so much for events, or do you train more so for social dancing?
I never train for social dancing ever,
Yep.
because social dancing is just going to happen.
Yep.
So I will, and because I don't feel like I get enough time. There's two things for growing, right?
Yep.
You just have to have time on the floor,
Yep.
and you have to have repetition.
Yep.
But that's it,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
So,
Do the-
it's like,
do the- yeah.
when I have time on the floor, I'm also trying to squeeze in repetition.
Yeah.
Because I just don't get enough. So I do it in social dancing. Whatever I'm working
You're
on.
practicing in social dancing for
Yeah.
the motivation of like doing, like comparing
Well,
yourself in
just to
comps
improve,
and
just to
and-
improve just in
Yeah.
general. And like, no matter what skill level person I'm dancing with, I'm going, if I'm dancing with them, all right. If they're new, I'm just going to do some anchor variations
Yeah.
and learn that or get better at it
Yeah,
or whatever.
different
or
things.
Musicality or something.
So then my next thing would be like, when you get to a comp, what makes it your, like, what is the best comp that you have been to? Or not even the best comp you've been to, like what is, some people like small events, some people like big events, some people like one couple teaching so it's consistent, some people like multiple couples, lots of social dancing.
So
lots
what's your
of-
favorite thing about an event, or what's your favorite type of event?
What's your favorite type of event?
Yeah.
Type of event.
Yeah, it's like, really big events, or you like the more intimate events? What's your favorite out of the two?
I found Asia Open full on because it was like 500. Every other Aussie event sort of under 200.
Yeah.
And also we were kind of on the social floor and even in the competitive floor, we were so squeezed for space.
Yeah, it was pretty
You know how weird that is? Because coming from here, we had, like,
So
I
much
can
room.
float over the whole dance floor socially and not bump into anyone. But like then I'm in comp and I'm like, man, I have to keep everything short, and I've forgotten because we just never do it.
Yep.
We
Like-
actually mentioned this.
We
We were
did.
here. We were like, I don't understand.
So we went to we had the dance party Saturday night, obviously, and then we were talking yesterday, and I mentioned to Zach, and I was like, you know what was weird? I feel like nearly every second dance I had, my partner bumped into someone on the floor, and I'm like, they
This
have
is-
so much room.
This is also the experienced dancers and the not experienced
Yeah.
dancers.
Do you know what? I was watching you two at the start of the night,
Yeah.
and you were dancing, you were doing some cool stuff, but you were dancing super small.
Yeah.
And I was like, and part of me was like, that's what I need to learn, because I never do it. But
So
it
this
looked
is-
so
yeah.
good, and it was like, you know.
A lot of fun things for us happen in closer to each other. I think that's something that we focus on. But I thought I brought it back to, like, you don't have to practice it if you've got room on the floor. Like, there's nights that we're lucky on a Thursday night we'll have more room than a Tuesday night. But we also we have like these sliding divider things that we can move and encroach on the floor space. So we'll move them depending on how much like
We
room we want
almost
to give
train
everybody.
people to
Yeah.
get used to
Yeah.
dancing in different
Or, like,
spaces.
tonight you're gonna have this much room. Oh, there's a few more people. We're gonna extend it. It makes
Yeah.
the floor look busier. Makes it feel like there's more energy on the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
But I was like, why is this happening? You've got all of this room and everyone's still colliding with each other. What's happening?
So as far as the comps go, like Asia Open, I didn't like the social dancing element because it was just so
Really
crowded.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was awesome to dance with everyone as well. So you've got the
Yeah.
yin and the yang. But I would say the leveled workshops, it was the first event where I went to where there was leveled workshops.
Yeah.
So I much prefer, if I'm going to an event with workshops on my mind,
Yep.
I would want to travel to an event that has leveled workshops.
Awesome.
But if I'm going for competition and social dancing, I would want more space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
I
fair.
think the larger events do facilitate the opportunity to have leveled workshops. So it's,
'Cause, yeah.
it's like catch-22.
And then yours, the large events have to have enough space and room. I think
And then also, if you're going to an event and there's people that you know that are going, that's awesome as well.
Yeah.
So it makes it better just to have a core group of people that you know and you can always go get dancers from and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I have like let's see if I can do it. I'm going to try to come up with like a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
It's going to be this one or this one, whatever first comes to your mind. You can't explain why,
Okay.
and maybe later on we'll circle back.
Are we timing?
No, because then it puts pressure on me to remember what the questions are.
Yeah.
So if I go a fast floor or a slow floor,
Go.
Slow.
What's your practice? Yeah.
slow. If I go suede or resin,
Suede.
if I go fast song, slow song.
Slow.
If I go contemporary song or like maybe a pop song or a hip hop song.
Oh, hip hop. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what else can I think of? Ooh,
Morning comps, afternoon comps.
Afternoon.
Yep.
ooh, okay, yeah. This one most of them are. Okay, let's go. Semina Maria or Yaku and Emmeline?
That's a
All
draw.
of them.
Draw.
That's a draw.
I stop in the middle.
I love it.
I'm gonna like flip this for a second before we kind of wrap it up. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Man, I'm like.
Awesome.
Is there like,
start
is
the
there like,
clock now.
is
Yeah.
there like, a, is there like
Yeah.
a burning question on your mind that you wanted to ask us?
There's so many.
It can be dance
I was going to
related
ask you
or
a question the other night. How do you feel being judges, right, and knowing that when you're scoring a competition, that later on you get the chance to review it and you'll see where your scores were for, let's say, the top three, and sometimes your scores won't be there because you must have, I'm assuming you must have seen something, whatever. But how do you manage the feeling of, man, I scored that person and then I'm going to dance with them or I've got a private with them later
Yeah.
or whatever.
You go
And you
first.
have that feeling of trying not to be biased, but then
Yes, there's
having
all
to
these
make a
things to
decision.
juggle. So yeah.
Yeah. Good
How
question.
do you feel about that?
So I've definitely, that's something you have to learn as you judge, in the sense of like, I have had a bias without knowing I was biased. So I'm going to use Mackenzie as an example. I was teaching Mackenzie as privates, and
Like your little protege.
yeah, my little, like he was doing everything that I would like to see. In my mind, I put him as really high ranking, I think, and I think everyone else had him much lower. So that was a bias. And then the event director came up and talked to me and said, hey, what's going on here? Which I appreciate, but that was also my dad. So like, that was something that was brought to my attention, and I fixed that. So I just you gotta be made aware of it, I think, to know that that's a thing. And now I almost like feel like there's a bias that I could go the opposite way and be more harsh on the people that I think I've taught or like had that influence on. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I think I'm trying to manage that balance of like, yes, it just makes it hold me accountable for like, I need to remember that's why I put this through, and then I want to be consistent around the board. That's why I'm not putting this one through, or that's why I'm putting this one through. That way I can wholeheartedly say to everybody, that's why, if that makes sense. If I can explain why, whether you agree with it or not, you don't have to. Like that's, all of us judges, I'll go up to judges afterwards and be like, hey, after we've all submitted our scores and all the results are done, I'll be like, hey, so this is what we had, this is what you had, what did you see, what did I see, why did, like, I put this person through because of this. And then sometimes we won't see the same thing, sometimes we will, and that's fine. With like knowing that student and doing privates afterwards, I just like, again, comes to me knowing, being able to explain, and it almost feels like defending yourself, but I'm not defending, I'm just explaining to you.
It's justification.
Yeah, I'm just explaining
It's
why.
also a lot to have to remember though, right? Because sometimes
It
it's
is.
like a little thing,
Yes.
Yep.
and like retaining that when you've seen so much go on, and it's a
Yeah.
week later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, this is,
And
yeah,
that's,
if
that's
the
something that
time
I
goes
wondered, like
past-
whether you had that conflict of going, oh man, they, you know, I know how much they trained and whatever, and
Yeah. But then
on the
unfortunately,
day they just didn't
yeah.
cut it
Yeah.
or whatever.
That's
and-
the
Come
other
on, I
thing.
know you can do better. Let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah,
That's the other thing. Like I can also see that too. Like I can see this person training a lot, and then it doesn't. Like I can see that they're not working through, but I can't judge them off of like I know what you can do either.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is hard as teachers.
Yeah.
It is more.
It's literally about like, and even going through like I'll see someone at a comp here, and then go to the next comp and be like, you danced so much better at this comp than you did the other comp, but that doesn't even matter. Because if everyone else is dancing differently as well, it's like you can't go off previous comps or the last time you saw people.
Yeah.
You have to go off what you see in that competition, in that time. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
I am. This is the hard thing I always go through. We don't have standardization as such. It's kind of, I think everyone kind of knows going into a West Coast Swing event, you're probably going to get results that are a bit all over the shop. Partly is because of the fact that we don't really have like a set, this is the expectation for here, this is the expectation for here as you move up the levels. There's like an understanding of what should be like displayed and what should be shown through the dance, but it's still interpretive, right? It's all subjective and everyone kind of has their own opinions on what they like. I love judging. I love it so much. I think the thing is, I feel like I can walk off the floor after judging and I can justify every single thing that I have seen and scored. And I guess if you have people that, you know, come to you afterwards, I actually love the people that come to me afterwards and say, oh, I just want to know why you kind of put me low. And I'm like, cool, let's have a chat. I'll tell you exactly why.
Do you ever get the reverse? Why did you put me first?
Yep. And again, I think it's just really being aware of, like, as a judge, what you value with West Coast Swing as well, and that's kind of why it comes out differently with a lot of different people.
100%.
And yeah, it's hard in our community. Obviously, it's so small, so you've got to you've got to walk on with a fresh mindset every single time. Like, pretend you don't know the people that are on the floor and be really unbiased as you do, which is hard. But I think it's a skill, especially once you teach more in classes and you teach more private lessons, you kind of get quicker at being able to pick those things up and have an understanding of what, you know, is good quality and what maybe shouldn't go through.
Yeah.
But
Everyone has their different opinion. Like it's of like what they're judging off. Some events you'll go through and the head judge will tell you what they're looking for. Some events you'll go and the event director is going to tell the head judge what they want you to judge off, and then they communicate that to
The judging panel.
the judging staff.
Is there any reason, well, I've never been to an event where the head judge might call in the competitors and say, we've had a discussion in novice, this is what we're going to be focusing on first, and then blah, blah, blah.
Some events do.
Because that's something that I think would be cool. I've never seen it
we
at
do
any
that.
of the events that I've been to. But
Asian Open, we do that with like the judging. I think like Chuck has done that a couple of times that in the events that I've been with him. It's been like, this is, and I think
as an
with
event
the
director,
competitors,
not the judging staff. Like
with the competitors.
yeah, I mean, like the
Sorry.
judges standing there in front of anyone who's competing can come and then listen, and they say,
Gotcha.
this is what we're like.
Yeah.
This is what we're looking for. Because I've never heard it explained, but I've heard, like, if you listen to Glenn Ball's podcast,
Yes,
some
great
people
podcast.
go, oh, I go in and if I'm judging novice, the first thing I'm looking for is timing. So if you're off time, you're off the list.
Yeah.
And then if everyone is on time, then,
And then you also
I'm
have
looking
that-
for something else.
You also have that annoying thing of like, the more people on the floor, the less time everyone gets to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
and that's the other thing. Like you could, with judging, you only have a minute 20 to a minute 40, right? That's all you have. You got 3 songs, but you're only going to get maybe 10 to 15 seconds that someone's going to look at you. So
Depending on how many people are on the floor.
yeah, like I might have seen something amazing, but Zach may have looked at them afterwards and they had a complete stuff up. You know what I mean? So that's also how you get the opposite.
I find a lot of the ones is like they'll try to do a styling or a hit or a musical thing with their body or their feet or like a pattern or something like that, and then that is awesome, but the thing after that is off time.
like the recovery or the continuation isn't so good.
Which then I'm like, cool, if you're looking while they're hitting that and you're like, yeah, sick, and you turn around the next person to see if they've hit it or if anyone's done anything to it, and then you miss the off time part, it's like, it's really hard to juggle. And unfortunately, that's just the aim of the game. That's why you have so many people judging on the floor. I try to combat that by moving outside of the circle sometimes.
Yeah.
So you can be
getting
inside the circle.
Scope of the room.
Yeah, or outside the circle. And I try to, like, for me, stand outside the circle as much as possible so I can get a bigger, like, focus in certain areas of the floor and kind of get an overview of what I'm looking at to start with and see if anything stands out. And then I'll go in.
Good or bad.
Either end of the spectrum.
But it gives everyone an even chance of being able to be seen, as opposed to like if I'm here and I'm missing everyone behind me, I'm in the middle of the circle, I miss everyone behind me, but I just see like the 2 couples in front.
And this is also because like in Australia, we have a lot more time, like because there's less competitors. Like if you go to like an American event and you had this many divisions, it'd be a lot harder to, like you'd have to do that multiple times and have like notes written down more so to like those things that you're looking for, whether it be timing, whether it be cool for anything that stands out that you want to remember or you value or whatever, you'd have to write those down and memorize them all. Whereas for me, like I can almost wait, you can sometimes wait 2 songs before you write anything down in that one heat because if you're like looking at everything and then get it all down in the last song. Depending on if you know what you're looking for.
Everyone operates a little bit different.
And there's going to be some heats that you're like, damn, everyone's very close to each other. Like the comparison of levels, like how everyone's dancing is very tight. So like the difference between first and last or getting through and not getting through is actually very close. And you're like, okay, now I need to be a bit more harsh and find a bit more things.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes it's like a big scale.
Huge spectrum.
And you're like, okay, sorry, congratulations.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Can I ask another question of you guys?
Absolutely.
As competitors, like when you compete, have you had those times when, how like sometimes you have a dance and it feels awesome, you feel like everything's great, and then, but when you see it on video or if you're being judged in a comp, you don't do well. And then you'll have other dancers that sometimes it feels freaking shocking, but then you end up winning the comp.
All the time.
All the time.
Like,
All the time.
All the time.
With Maddie and I like.
does that bother you that sometimes what it feels like you might get rewarded because it looked good, but actually it wasn't the best dance that you had, and the one that you had at a previous competition, which was a fantastic dance, didn't get scored well? Does that?
Do you want to answer this first?
This is like a common thing for us and me. And I think especially it's very prevalent like in our demos we do. Like quite often we'll do demos and like I'm usually more positive than Zach about our feedback on ourselves, but like I hate watching
Well, your
myself
demo
dance.
on Saturday was Saturday was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it.
For sure.
It's
Awesome.
pretty defeating when you feel like it was awesome and then you go back and watch it and you're like excited to watch it and you're like, oh God, why? Why does it look like
I'm
this?
going to use an example. So I'll bring Emma Collier into this because at the Asian Open we dance. And you said you loved it, right?
I
I'm
told
pretty
Maddie that on the weekend. I loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favourite one. But I thought your dance with Byron was
Awesome.
exceptional.
Amazing, yes.
But the one that I felt the most on was
Yeah.
yours.
Oh, the feeling in it,
Feels.
yeah. So Emma Collier and I love to dance, like, we used to dance to these, like, super
Emotive.
emotional,
contemporary
yeah,
songs.
like, and would be able to accelerate and decelerate and do all this to, like, get into the emotion of it. And I knew she was going to pick that one already, but I wanted to go the other one.
Just
but
for context,
I didn't say anything.
we had a choice of acoustic or EDM,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
is a very interesting mix.
Very
of
different
choices.
scale.
Yeah.
And at the moment, like, I would go energy, but with Emma, I felt like, yes, I probably should have gone the emotive, but I wasn't right in the headspace of, like, I'm going to draw someone that I get to dance with all the time in Australia in a different country. That thing. But anyway, we get into it, and I had a moment of, like, falling off time. And I felt it, and there was a moment where I screwed a pattern up. Now, whether I hit that very well or, like, it was the timing because I've practiced, like, falling and catching myself or, like,
Yeah.
you know, how to hide things as well as I can possibly. But in my head, as soon as those moments happened, I was like, fuck it, just fucking have a good time. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the dance.
Yeah.
And it felt awesome. But at the start, there was that pressure, and I was just in my own head, and I'm like, I was like, whatever. I even said to Emma, I'm like, I'm sorry, I kind of screwed up. And I shouldn't say that because it makes the person that you're dancing with feel like they've almost not done as good.
Yeah.
And like, what if they're, like, for you, if we're dancing and I go, what the hell was that?
You do that every time.
I
all
know,
the time.
yeah.
Every single time.
What was I supposed to do there?
But that's what pushes you to be better as well. So
Correct,
there's
for
the,
me.
the
Yeah.
positive and negative of it.
Yeah.
But did you feel though in the moment, like when you came off the floor, did you feel excited to watch that back, and then you watched it and you were like, oh, yeah, I can see. how
No,
it's-
I
What did you
wasn't
feel in the
excited to watch it, but then when I did watch it, it wasn't as bad as I thought. But the bits that I remembered were as bad as I thought.
moment? Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
For me. Like, maybe to other people's opinions it wasn't. Like, for me, the rest of the dance felt, like, for me, those feelings of those bits carried along, like, I felt like that for the rest of the dance. So instead of those moments. So I think to me, like, the dance was all like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was actually a really nice dance with
So it got in
moments
your
of
head at
bad.
the start, and then
Yeah.
it kind of carried through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sex when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually hate watching myself dance most of the time.
Yeah.
Which is bad because you need to watch yourself all the time. So you need to. That's how you learn. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that thing where you perform a routine and you feel like you're doing 100%, but you watch it back and it looks like you're doing like 70. You're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's if you're ever doing a routine, 150. Same for that, and then you'll fall about
Yeah.
100 on video. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I like this. The interview turned
I'm
reverse.
just really glad that you guys, like, you're confirming what we go through. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Same deal, because it's like, well,
Yeah.
because I know, like, after a comp, you know, we often, like, go for lunch or dinner or whatever, and everyone's sitting there like,
Yeah.
whatever, and you're like dissecting what happened
Yes.
and all the stuff, and you kind of feel a certain way, and then you get to the results, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
they did well, or, you know.
Yeah. Oh, actually, it wasn't. It must have
Yeah,
been better than I
yeah.
thought. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Or you get the opposite and you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Or like, how the hell did this person get through and this? And I'm like, I'm very lucky I haven't had that thought of, like, I don't know if it's jealousy or if it's like anger or if it's, so I've been around people that don't like when other people get through or like all this sort of stuff. And again, with that whole like
Yeah.
making noise in the background, good for you, awesome, like supportive the whole way. Like if I didn't do well enough, there was a whole period of time where I did crap, like a whole year. And
Everyone goes through the slump.
and my crap was like going from first, then I was second for a while, then I'm third for a while, then I didn't make finals. Like I didn't place, so I didn't make, like it slowly got worse. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm just worse. It was like progressively getting like that. And then I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. It's not me. And the whole time I was always like, cool, good job. But then more about myself being
I
like,
say it
hey.
was you. It was you.
At the time, I wasn't like, oh, what do you mean?
Well, because you.
What do you mean?
Well, you were the one getting worse, weren't you?
Yes, that's correct.
So it was you getting
It was
worse.
you.
As in, no, the whole time it was getting worse. I was like, it's not me. You guys are just that good. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I see what you're saying. The competition had gone above.
I was like, it's
okay.
not me. I'm like, you guys are doing that good. Sweet, good. Congratulations. I was so supportive and like that I didn't even focus on myself.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, no, I need to like focus on myself as well.
Because that's the other thing, right? Is that you guys have each other, right? Where you can elevate each other. Like you can push each other. You're a similar level, like ability, skill, both all stars, etc. And then, but you know, let's say in Perth, we don't have those people that much above us. We don't have any all stars. We've got like 3 advanced dancers, and they're already just in advance.
Yep.
And that's another thing that's difficult to. Well, I find difficult to progress because you want to.
Interesting.
So, for example, I train with Amanda, right? Amanda's intermediate, I'm intermediate. And then it's like, well, we're trying to figure shit out, but we don't have anyone here that we can go, hey, well, what are we actually doing? We're using that Dance Lib app and we're like figuring out, which is awesome. And we love training. So it's all good, but it's like, there'd be a fast track. If you guys were here and we go, hey, we're stuck on this, you go, yeah, it's a blah, blah, blah. And we're like, thanks.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, but for us, it's like
4 hours later, you're like, oh my God.
3 weeks later, we're literally working on a Maxence Nini. It's one of their expert moves, right? So it's difficult. But we've spent 3 hours on this, like so far.
That's awesome.
And it's not down yet. We're still.
I love that.
Because I don't know if you're like this, Zach or Maddie, but like, when I'm learning something, I'll go, oh yeah, it's the feet here, and then I get that, and then it's like, oh yeah, now focus on the connection. My feet are happening,
screw up.
and then I do this, and then it's like, oh hang on, where am I putting my head? Okay, I got to look at my partner, and it's like I can only do one of those things at a time. I can't do it all at once, and so we'll do it, and it's like a little bit of success, and then the next layer goes on the next layer, the next layer. It's
I'm
always
pretty good
been like
with
that.
like having like I'm very good with visual learning, so. I think my struggle suit was going from learning visual and doing pretty well at that, and then learning the technical, the feeling behind it. The feeling is a completely different, like I can see something, and sometimes one person in the partnership can hide the look of the feeling, or it can look like it feels good, but sometimes it doesn't. You know, like what we were talking about with the dance thing before? So like, that's the hard bit.
Back to your point though, I had to learn West Coast off YouTube. Like we didn't really have, there was no one. Yeah, we had to learn it off YouTube. So it was like we've been in this position. Like when we started,
we still are now.
Yeah, we still are. Well, yeah, we are. We literally are in that position now. So we now would have to go to our peers and ask questions and that kind of thing. Which you guys are just in the same position. It's just a different level. That's all. So I think having like
Did you find it frustrating though, like not having someone there to coach you through it? So it took longer? Did you feel like it was slowing your progress?
Yeah, like it's not slowing the progress because I think by working it out yourself, you actually do progress more. It just takes more time, which is more frustrating. I mean, we are in that position at the moment. Like, we choreograph our routines and stuff and then we get stuck and we're like we spent 2.5 hours on the most simple 2-second thing in our routine. We watch back and we're like, that's ridiculous, it took that long to work out.
Which one?
It is what it is. The drag through the floor, so I mean, the thing is, we're in the same boat. It's
just at different points. Like, so I understand that. Like, sometimes I can't wait until a pro comes over from America. And even then, like, I'm
job all the time.
It's another thing too. So, I think it's a comparison thing. We're comparing to you're comparing to Brisbane, or like you're comparing to another states in Australia or America. Whereas if we had nothing to compare to, it would almost be like, it just is what it is. And we would have to figure a way to like push ourselves, and we would do it. So whether that be like training with group training every week where we do like feedback sessions, or we just like say what we like about each other, or it might be like we do classes, or we do like little mini comps. Like we do little mini comps with little judges that rotate around the system here. I've never thought of that idea, but that's something we're going to do in Brisbane now, so you know.
Okay.
But like, I think pushing ourselves. We are very lucky that we have more higher level dancers, if that makes sense. But it hasn't always been like that. And like when I first started dancing in New South, it was intermediate was the highest level. and like we all had to grow as a country and like states to get
So
to
you've
where we
been
are.
on that front line of like pushing
Yes.
up.
Yeah, and I'm very hungry and driven to be the best that I can be. But without the thought of being like, I have to move to another country or another state to do it. I definitely want to travel and experience all of there is to experience. But I would love, like this might sound stupid that I'm saying it out loud, because I don't like to say things out loud and then not fulfill it. So
Yeah, everyone who's watching this
Hold him
is going to
accountable.
hold you.
hold me accountable, touch wood and all that sort of stuff. But I'd love to be able to be like, one day, like, you know, be able to say that I could be the best or some around the best and around that level of, again, we're comparing, but like the American pros or the European pros and like have that in Australia where we don't, like where we get flown out to other countries that are far away and they want us there. They want us that much that they want us there,
Yeah.
opposed to like, at the moment, it's not bad. Again, it's not a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is with time, effort, all that sort of stuff. At the moment, we fly these guys out, we fly these guys out. Doesn't matter how far they are because we're hungry. We freaking want it. And I want to be that good that we can be at that level maybe one day.
Yeah.
Whether that is me or not, that's fine. I'm probably, I mean, I want it to be me,
Yeah.
but if I can make that happen for Australia, if it's the next generation or whatever, if that's possible, fuck, that would be awesome. Like, we are the people that people want to come to Australia, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we do fly overseas. Like, we get hired for overseas events. It's not like that
Yeah.
doesn't happen. So we're very lucky.
Well,
in
you
that
guys are
sense.
like crucial for the Australian-New Zealand community.
Yeah.
Like it's
We're very
you
much
guys and
invested
JP and Em are like instrumental in all of our growth. Like
Yeah.
that effect, like even coming to Perth and doing what you did for us,
Yeah.
like and with us and like leading by example and just
It's kind of
being
cool
there.
being
That's
a
it.
part of
Yeah,
everyone's
it's really
journey,
good.
like everyone that dances in
it's
Australia.
amazing.
We're
It's
kind
so
of
much
part
fun.
of that, which is awesome.
So much fun.
But I think what you guys are going through, almost as frustrating as it is, almost be grateful for it, because I think we
Pushes
wouldn't be as good teachers, I guess, as we are now if we didn't have to spend
The struggle.
painful hours working out how to do a thing that you get stuck on.
It's one of these things, here's something controversial for you. So in America, you could probably, like if you're talented and you do enough hours and all that sort of stuff, you can probably make it from novice to all-star in what, maybe
2 years, maybe? Even
now the
year
points
and a
have
half?
gone up a bit, so maybe like,
yeah.
maybe, let's say 3, but I don't think it would be 3.
I don't think it'd take 3.
4.
There's some guys recently who've
Yeah.
been like 3 years. Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go, see?
Like
Whereas
we-
here, it took us freaking years and years and of like the drive and hunger that we have to be able to stick with it for as long as we do, and
And get
the
such
passion.
small amount of points
Yep.
that are available.
You're
and
You're
the
literally looking
Yeah.
lack
at
of
about
events and
The passion.
a decade is probably the timeline. Like, no, I'm not
For
joking. Like,
Aussies, yeah.
Mackenzie has been dancing for a decade now,
Yeah.
and he is like not even close to all star still. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's a very long, painful process if
Yeah.
you can't get to those.
But you
bigger
know
events.
what? That just shows to me that you are passionate, you're hungry, your drive, like that to me.
It
When I
almost-
put that up against some other people that just get it almost, it's like that thing like
It almost means more.
the struggle kind of makes you stronger in a way.
Yeah.
Like that, getting it handed to you. I'm not saying that these guys get it handed to on silver platter, but like the not having the struggle as much struggle
Yeah.
almost makes it easier, so that now I have a little bit of a competitive edge to be like, if you beat me, that's awesome, but I'm gonna freaking push now because
Yeah.
I know what I need to do. I know that you beat me because of this, this, and this, and I'm gonna work harder doing that, whatever it is.
yeah.
Yep.
I've said that for a while now to the guys here in Perth, and I said, well, the reality is, even just getting from intermediate to advanced is going to take X amount of events. It's going to cost X amount of money just to travel and compete at
Yeah.
those events. If I'm just talking about Australia,
Yeah.
there's a small amount of points given because it's not a big.
And it's hoping that you
Yeah.
get those maximum points.
Like if you win, if I was to go to Swing Station this year and win in intermediate, I'll get 6 points,
Yep.
right? Which is so
Overseas, you got
low.
15.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, obviously bigger crowd, whatever, but it's still, you know, just to get 15 points,
Yeah.
I'd have to go to 3 different Aussie events. And there's how many in a year? There's like 4 at the moment.
In Australia?
5? 5 pointed competitions this year.
Yeah, and and then again, you guys live in the furthest part.
Yeah, so it costs us more to get there.
Costs you more to get there, and that's hoping that you get the first place on all of them.
What I say to the guys here is like, at some point I had to come to the realization that I don't care about
the points
making it to whatever.
Yeah.
But my personal goal is to be able to dance like you guys at an all-star level.
Yeah.
Whether I have points or whatever, doesn't matter. But I still want to progress to get to that skill level and be able to have those kind of dances.
And naturally, the more, then if you're at that, then naturally you're going to, if you do a comp, you're naturally going to move up. The results will
But it's
follow.
even like, I don't know, when COVID and all that happened I've been saying it back then because I'm like, well, the world might shut down and you may not be able to travel and compete.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. I still want to dance and get better and be the best that I can be. You know?
Screw
like,
that, challenge accepted.
No, we still had people taking privates during that COVID time. So like,
Hungry.
there's people, and we have the diehards. Like in every community, we have diehards that it's our lives. Like we in Rawcon, we try to like create a group where we're friends, and we are lucky that we get to catch up at dancing, and we catch up at dancing, and we catch up outside of dancing as well. Not people that dance, and then like not people that only see each other because of dance. We are friends that dance, and we want to, and it's like it's just it's a really good feeling in the sense of we build each other up in that way, and I think again I'm comparing a little bit of Perth to us a little bit in the sense of like I know Perth has the diehards there, but then it's just like getting you guys together and like really pushing you both all through that, and like because motivating each other, keeping each other like. Accountability is one thing, and then motivated is one, and then like inspired is another, and like all these other things, right?
Yeah.
There's this feeling right now in Perth where people are putting their hand up to train. Like when I started, it was only Courtney. I'd ask everyone, no one would train. It's just Courtney.
Yeah.
And then I had a year of no one training. I couldn't train with anyone, but I would do my primes and stuff with Amanda. But right now, there's a group of us that are all going, we want to train, and there's a few others who aren't doing anything who are asking us to run training sessions.
If you can, jump on it.
So we're starting next month.
That's
we were
awesome.
like, we have to wait for Zach and Maddie to do their thing, and then the next month we start training. So
That's very cool.
And these guys are all like keen, like all age levels, and they want to go to competitions and they want to do all the stuff. So we're kind of building that core group, and that's from 3 different schools.
And then hopefully everyone else feeds off of that. Like you guys can make everyone else feel that energy, and obviously like you can't give everyone the same amount of energy, but like attention, if that makes sense. But like you can definitely inspire more people that way. I think if you guys are really like together, that's very cool. We've been going for about an hour and a bit now.
Wrap this up now.
Which I completely lost track of time. Like you said, we could talk about this all day long. And I'd love to. We might even have to do like a part 2, or maybe we can cut this into 2 parts or something. Like our interview with you, and then your interview with us.
The interviewers.
That was cool though to hear your thoughts on this stuff too, because it's like good just to. Because we don't get to access that every week and like say, hey, blah, 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 blah.
We teach a class and then you don't actually get to have a conversation. But
So for people that want to see you, Steve, where are you going to be next? What's your next event?
Oh man, I had to cancel.
We're not talking about that.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me that.
We're not talking about that.
I reckon Adelaide is a lock, but that's possibly the first one for this year.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we'll see you at Adelaide then.
Yeah, awesome.
And thank you very, very much for coming.
Yes,
Thanks for inviting
appreciate
me.
your time.
Steve is on the south coast.
West
Coast.
West Coast.
Yeah.
Doing West Coast swing if you guys want to catch up with him, or you do digital marketing and
You
stuff
have
like
the
that.
YouTube channel as well?
Yes,
What's that one?
all under Steve Fitz. So Steve
Fitz
Fitz on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, you
it's
can
got
see
some
all the West Coast swing stuff.
Cool little West Coast videos in there, so check it out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But that's it. Thank
Anything
you,
else?
everyone.
That's it.
That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.